Well, greetings, everybody, and welcome to this week's edition of the show we call the Inworld Review. The Inworld is basically virtual worlds, various grids all over the place, and we specialize in those connected to the Hypergrid, which is basically all of them except a few wall gardens here and there. Um, the Hypergrid basically is a system that allows individual grids or virtual worlds, as it were, to connect with each other. And so long as they use a shared authoring platform, as it were, you can teleport to different places on different grids, as well as locally. You can communicate with friends on different grids, and of course on the grid you're on. So we look at places, arts, and people, basically on the Hypergrid. That's what we do. My name is Mal Burns. I'm your host, and to my left-hand side, my wonderful co-host is Tosha Tyran. Welcome, Tosha.
Hi, Mel. Hi, James. Really glad to be here in person today. Yay.
Yes. Oh, yes, yes. Oh, wow, a wonderful talking cushion from last week. Yes, remember that. Well, that's winter for you. The snow's still here, but maybe that will melt in a couple of weeks' time. Okay, and on my right hand side is the right hand man. It's got a ring to it, that hasn't it? It's anyway. He does all the specializes in sitting and fiddling with knobs. The knobs in question, of course, being audio and video controls. So that's James Outloud. Welcome, James.
Well, thank you, Mal. Glad to be back again. Still got my Christmas sweater on, but I dropped the exploding hat, so I should think I'm
Yes.
good today.
Okay. Well, you can give that to me now.
Yeah.
I'm still going to go.
Okay.
But,
Okay.
but really, the lights are
I've
very
also
fancy.
Very
I've
So
also
fancy.
fancy lights.
managed to rescue. I had a top hat on last week, I think, and I've still messed up at Safari. But
Yeah,
I
steampunk
finally,
hat of some sort. Yeah.
yeah, yes, yeah. Well, I finally found my old hat. I got it from my craft grid actually. My avatar there still had it. My conference grid avatar had lost this, so I guess but I think it's been lost from nearest grid inventory, and therefore anything I was wearing from this grid had gone. So anyway, I've got the hat back for now anyway. So that's good.
All right.
And I wore a an interesting hat come safari. It may be in the clips we show, so we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. Right. Okay. Well, this week we're going to start up with our usual roundup. Of course, the big thing this week was midweek, noon on Wednesday, which was the very 1st of January, of course. It was welcome back in, without further ado, to Hypergrid Safari. Yay!
Yay.
Let's hear it, everybody, for Safari. I'm trying to
Yay.
imitate the way Jules Holland does "Hoot Nanny," and the audience all go berserk. So I'm going to say Safari.
Yay, yay.
Oh, cool. Oh dear, I got the wrong button there. I pressed the wrong button. Never mind. Trust me to try and be clever. Right. Okay. Okay. You can't do everything at once. I better concentrate on rabbiting, hadn't I? Okay. So midway we did have Safari. So I'm going to round up just a few of announcements into that too, because basically everything we're doing today is looking back and talking over some film, and a couple of new regions that we found to look at and talk about. So starting off the way we mean to go along. Well, no, actually, I'm just going to show one picture first because I'm going to need to resize this and just get it out of the way, basically. Um, on LF Grid, Littlefield Grid is the full name, lfgrid.com, colon 8002, colon luminaria. They've got this Festival of Lights running. It's been running since Wednesday and coming up to the 6th of January, which I think is the 12th day of the shenanigans. They celebrated 12 days of it for some reason. I can usually tell from all the pine needles scattering on the streets and being dumped in. Everybody throws out that damn tree on the 12th day. Right. Anyway, as you can probably see from that, the 6th of January will be the last day. Last night they had, as you can see, Saturday, 4th of January. That ice dance is obviously over. but they're still open today, and tomorrow being the last day, they'll be open too. So, as you say, right, http://lfgrid.com 8002:luminaria, and that is really your last chance to experience the magical lights they've rigged up for the season there. Okay, so having used that picture up, I can actually move to where we really want to be. Okay, well, having first of all, I'm just going to move to the Hypergrid Safari blog. Basically, HD Safari, as well as Wednesday's event, is a blog of its own that is run by Tosha, of course. And her first blog this week was about calendar guys. She does an annual calendar for OpenSim, and it seems to be the guys of OpenSim this year. Fortunately, missing me. But I don't know. But you were telling me, weren't you, Tosha, that some chat or this networks are talking about her choice of men?
Oh no, we didn't. What I noticed though is that last year's calendar was all about women, and I knew about all of the women in the guys
Yeah.
calendar. I knew about two or maybe three, and the rest were perfectly unknown to me. So I must be very women oriented.
Well, I don't know. Maybe I am too. I must admit, I mean, I've been flicking through this, so I'm going to flick through it for you. So we can show you all. That was January, February. That's now Nick Spreen has been on the show. Is a favourite of ours, really, an immersive sort of artist with lights and all sorts of experiences. So we know him, and yeah, I guess he's fairly photogenic as avatars go, isn't he? So February is Nick's. Who else have we got? Cooper Swizzle, yeah, I recognise his name. He's the OpenSim World's Fair and on the Wolf Territory is good. Actually, can't think. I think I probably recognise his avatar more. Well, I know his name too. So yeah. I'm playing a game here now. Maxwell here. I know the Ignis Thatcher's grid, but I don't know. Oh. Yes, there is a Max. Right, maybe we know him under a different name, like Max somebody else. I'm not sure.
Not sure.
Yeah. Anyway, I didn't recognize him.
I know Ignis. What's it called? Ignis.
Thatcher's grid.
The grid, yeah.
Yeah, I know that, but I did not know the man. Ignis Fatuous. Yeah. Ignis Fatuous.
Sorry, I'm losing myself here. I went too far. Right, there we are. Spaxorian. Well, yeah. I love the fact that it's from somebody called Dismayland. I'd be dismayed if somebody called me Spaxorian, I think. Well, Spax. I mean, what a name. Come on. And the OA, I can't even pronounce that grid. But anyway, it does certainly look like a bloke, so I suppose that counts for something. Right, that is followed up by, of course, well, we all know Snowbody. Is at Mumble and on the what is the new HG Safari grid and various other stuff he does over there with those, of course. He couldn't be left out, could he? Of course. Danger Listen. Oh, I do know this name too. I didn't have to check out. Has he been the Sailboat Raceway he's posing with there? And he obviously fancies himself as a pirate or something. Yes, with his curved sword. What do they call them? I've forgotten it. So it's got a special name, that curved sword.
Scimitar, perhaps?
No, that's not the one I was thinking of. Okay. But who knows? What is going on here? Sorry, we've got to start again. All right, okay. Marlon Wayne, Reno Parks, Caster. Oh, 3 of them here. Okay. Waterworld on the Pangea grid. Okay. Marlon's name is familiar, but I don't really know the other two.
And casting Running Bear was at the last safari.
Oh, right.
Oh, okay.
Very good. We may see, well, maybe have a picture of him on film later then. Dan Banner. Well, actually, Dan Banner is legendary sort of famous with Electric and everything else. You don't always see that much of him, and you can't miss him, can you? I remember he was actually at the OS.
Gigantic hair. I don't know what you call this hair.
Mo-
Do that is
Mohican, I think, is the idea.
it's
But
just like
he was without that hair, but he was sort of sitting in the audience at the OSCC, and I remember coming into him and thinking, you know, that face, you know, it just felt very strange in this otherwise staid conference. Anyway, so bad, but yeah, right. CCI Sendra and CCI Grid. Oh, well, that's interesting. I'll mention this in a minute, but there's CCI Grid has a region called SOA and Siwas. Oh no, those are the people. Okay, so this is SOA. He
that
is
is
he's going to be
where
one.
sorry.
I was going to say he's going to be one of the hosts on Safari this coming Wednesday, because the first stop is a region called Yosemite.
Oh, okay. That we were there last year on safari. We're on the motorcycle race and track. That was over I don't know how many levels, and was such a huge fun.
Yep.
It's the one that
Remember,
went up and up and up, wasn't it? And
I still have a motorcycle in my inventory.
oh, well, I know you might never know when you need it. It's like me. I've always got a horse in my inventory somewhere. Never know when I'm going to need my horse.
I have,
uh,
I
yeah.
have a motorcycle in my closet.
Oh, well, I always say you have a building in your inventory, you know, or rather your suitcase. And I would say you don't buy a house and then try and carry it back on an aeroplane. The strange logic of virtual habits. Right, Jimmy Olsen. Oh, yes, no famous name. Then from Alternative Metaverse Grid, or Alternate Metaverse Grid. I must get that right. My tongue always goes to alternative, but Alternate Metaverse Grid is what it is. And the final one, by the look of it, is this is actually the cover. It's got to be. That's Una de Gal Masala. And that was that's at our Safari base on the Avicon grid. So that's we don't rarely get there. It's one of the backup grids for when the OS grid one wasn't there. But of course now Safari does have its own grid anyway.
Yeah, it was always in backup grid.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Anyway, that was the first blog of the year, as it were, from Thursday. And then on Thursday, she published two following this week's visit. So the first one was Tutti Frutti. And this is Bloom Peters, who makes that wonderful music machine. And he's now got a fruity music bar on his, it's the arrival point on his grid, which is called the Wickstropia grid. And we'll just have a look at the pictures. 17 of them in all. A few of them are walkie-talkie ones. That I imagine was the initial gathering. I do actually have some film of this particular visit. The other visit, but not this Tutti Frutti one.
I think she did a great job on this grid of connecting.
Oh my goodness! Yeah.
Connecting, Animesh with artificial intelligence.
Right.
These waitresses could actually had a lot of phrases in the head that come up to you if they like your looks, or if they're aware of you, come up to you, ask you something. You can ask them something. It's really very surprising and astonishing, and it was a first glimpse of what is possible with AI and open sim.
Yeah, I had a question also. Do you think that the voices were recorded by people, or do you think AI synthesized the voices?
I think they were synthesized voices.
Yeah. I really wondered about that.
Though I feel it very hard by now to disguise between artificial voices and real voices. They've come such a great step also in that.
Yeah, sounding natural, right?
Yeah.
I'll certainly be going back here, hopefully, to see it because uh, I couldn't res. My avatar was in pieces, literally lots of different pieces of mesh at different sizes, all bundled into what looked like, when they put old cars in a sort of press and squash them together.
Oh yeah, yeah. Yep.
My avatar looked like that, and I could not fix it for love of money. I was logging in and out and in and out, and I was seeing so laggy. And no, it was fine. Come to the next destination, but I only just got a hint of what was going on by seeing little bits of chat and things. So I'd really like to go and experience it myself at some point. So
yeah, and interestingly, you appeared complete to me, as far as I
well,
could
that's
tell.
always the case.
Yeah, how about you, Tasha?
To me too.
Yeah, yeah.
It's one of those things that you get it now and again, and also I looked mangled when I got back here. I was sort of teleported back here to realign myself. I ended up having to log out completely. Yeah, it's one of those things. I mean, I'm one of those people that it distresses me if I'm not right, in my view. It doesn't matter if everybody else can see me wrong. I have to see myself right,
Yeah.
and
I know that feeling. Yeah.
yeah, it just nags at you, and you say, "I can't go on with this. Come on, just get me right, and then I can join in." Anyway,
I think that's what a psychologist might call it, a personal cult.
yes, yeah, certainly an obsession, really. Hey, I'm not right. In fact, I think that's a drive, and ever since the beginning of Second Life, really, is to improve the avatar, or whatever, until you think at some point, oh, I look right for the past, it represents me or whatever, and then a year or two goes by, and you think, God, I'm awful. I want to do a bit more and a bit more, striving for perfection, but. I mean, for the first few years of the Second Life, I didn't even care. I just had a system avatar and didn't really think it important. But how times change, really. Start and stop the traffic, yeah. But again, well, all of this is to do with the robotics and AIs and things. It's a lovely populated place too. Ever since her music machine and the Wixtropia, the town, you remember where she had all the people wandering around and made it feel fully inhabited.
Yeah. Isn't she the one that also made this orchestra with the cats?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
yeah. That was the yeah.
Okay, then I got
Yeah,
it
that's
right.
what
Yeah.
I think she's known for. I mean, she's Bloom now. Bloom Richards. Her original name, avatar name, was slightly different when she first did the orchestra, but she's settled on Bloom Peters now. But no, just look at the pictures, like the fruity sign there behind the bar and stuff. The detail work gone into that. It's got a particular style. It's also it's a bit like American 50s, but also just cartoony and also blended together. And sort of, and spot the avatars too. Which was a real avatar, which was a safari visitor. I mean, there's a guy there who could almost be James.
Could almost be.
Well, I'm joking. Yeah. So and all those busting hearts. Obviously,
Here now.
she had a. Oh, is that?
Did you hear that, Mel?
Is that Pet?
Why?
Yes.
Welcome,
Hi,
Pet.
Al.
Hey.
Hi, Pat.
For those listening in,
Hello.
for those listening in, we sent a little message out to Bet saying, "Do join us and have a chat about all our pictures if you
Oh,
if you want."
wonderful to have you, Pat.
Great to have
Thank you.
another.
It's nice to be here.
Yeah.
Thanks.
You can hear all of us and everything in the back channel there. So, and you're looking good. Yeah, wonderful. Okay.
Okay. And can you hear me okay?
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
sounds great.
Okay.
I'm sure
Okay.
James will
Loud
trouble
and clear.
if you're on overload or anything. But yes, well, welcome. Good to see you. Happy New
Thank
Year.
you. Thank
Happy
you.
New
See
Year
you
to
too, everybody. Yeah. Hope
Yes,
it was
I
good.
just said here, James, Happy New Year. Tosha, Happy New Year. As far as this show is concerned, it's the first chance. So yeah, there we go.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Happy New Year to everyone, then that's true.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And to all the people in the metaverse also. Happy
That's
New
right.
Year.
Whether they know it or not, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
How on earth
The,
did all the countries in the world agree to start the year at the same time, since they can't seem to
well,
agree
you
on
know,
much
this
else?
Yeah.
Almost the same time.
this was one thing that puzzled me because the first I was up in the morning when Auckland, New Zealand, was the first one, to come on, and Australia was 2 hours later, which is the biggie, of course. But I was fascinated with China because China's display was they didn't actually use fireworks; they used drones.
Oh,
They
yeah.
did drones, and it was a
And
wonderful show.
beautiful.
Oh, I
And,
saw some of that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
That was
yeah.
incredible.
yeah.
But
no sounds, no
No music or
noise,
anything?
yeah,
Yeah.
no,
noise would scare
yeah,
everybody and the animals.
exactly.
Oh, nice, nice.
I keep thinking of the poor cats and dogs, who have to listen to fireworks. They're terrified.
Yeah. And babies.
Yeah, I'm big.
Oh,
Oh,
and
yeah.
But
wildlife,
the odd
wild
thing,
animals.
yeah,
Dogs and cats, if they have a home, you can at least comfort them. I know I spent, I don't know how many years with a girlfriend and her dog always in a big closet of hers because the dog was so scared.
Aw.
And
Aw.
she and the dog always inside the closet and me in front of the open door.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh
That's how we
gosh.
spent Christmas.
Aw.
No, New Year's.
New Year's. Yeah.
Yeah,
Aw.
one of my little dogs was so afraid on New Year's, and normally they start already before New Year's Eve to with the fireworks. Some kids outside in Germany, everybody can buy fireworks, and
Mm-hmm.
so they already start early. And my dog would not go out even to pee,
Oh
and I would
goodness.
have to carry her down the stairs
Oh.
and about 200 meters outside, and then she would be running home again. And while she was running, she was peeing. So it was really, for
Oh.
her, it was
Was that
really
Chico?
horrible.
Poor
No,
baby.
Chico was not affected
Oh, good, good.
by
Okay.
fireworks,
Yeah.
not at all. But
the
the other one, Bola.
that of course is the thing that I was starting to say actually. I mean, they use drones in China or whatever, but what really surprised me is that China, the Chinese New Year, is not for a couple of months yet.
Yeah,
They actually do have a different New Year there. In fact,
yes,
quite a few regions of the world do. So what James was saying about all these countries
yeah.
agreeing, I don't think they actually do agree. I mean, they just want,
And
they don't want to not show off when everybody else is.
I think the Arab countries don't have the same New Year either.
Yeah. Yeah, I figure it's just, it's a celebration in some places, and then the places where it's not, think that, well, we better have it anyway to prove that we can do it too.
Yeah, we don't want to be left out.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, moving on, or rather, actually, for Pet Love's benefit, we're looking at some slides from Thursday's blog of Tutti Frutti, which was one of the stops on Wednesday. I know you
Oh,
weren't there.
cool. No, I wasn't. I'm sorry I missed it.
Yeah. This is Bloom Peters, and well, we've just been talking about it anyway. He's the one that did that wonderful musical machine, and Wixtropia, his grid, also had a sort of Toy Town-like place, but it was fully inhabited by NPCs or Animesh. And so if you walked around, and we featured it on here some months ago now, and you walked around, you really felt you were in an inhabited place, even if you teleported over on your own and weren't sorry, there were all these characters walking around doing things that people do. And what she's
Nice.
done, I actually had a real problem with Mesh, and I really more or less missed this stop, although I was fine for the next stop. But as James and Tosha have been saying, what she's done here is she's embodied all these characters with AIs. And you can actually talk to them. They ask questions of you. You can question them. And well, James and Tosh can tell you a lot more about it than I, because I've sort of missed it. But fascinating.
I'd like
I'll
to know
go
how
on.
that's done. Wouldn't it be nice to know how to do that? And then when you go to make a film, you wouldn't have all those empty streets and stores.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, she Bloom is saying that she's still experimenting with it and
Uh-huh.
still learning herself, and she wants to make it so that it can be used for other people and on other grids too, you know? So
Super.
I think that's really very interesting what she's doing. And these waitresses, really, they approached you. If you were sitting at a table, they came up, they approached you, but directly, even if you go change seats somewhere, they approach you, or one approached you, and she asked you what she could bring to you. You could talk with her, and she'd bring the right thing to you. It was really strange,
Wow.
really
Nice.
very cool. Yeah.
Very nice. Wow.
And
Cool.
And I noticed a couple of times I was standing. I did not sit down anywhere. I was standing there, and the waitress approached me, and she was standing in front of me, like looking at me, questioning. As if she
True
didn't
life.
actually,
know if I wanted to talk with her or not. And then if I didn't say anything, she just walked away, you know. And I'd say something, she'd stay and talk with me. It's really cool. It's really
you
fantastic.
love your personal AI producer resonated with you. I love the idea of one could use it for, I mean, I don't know whether the design was, you know, back today, pet. Um, I did have it second life. I remember it cost me a small fortune. Linton's was like a small fortune. It was a whole kit, literally being out to scene and following a path. You couldn't see the path. It's like you scripted the path visually, and then you played. You know, you played
Yeah.
the path as part of
What
making a scene.
Bloom said
So
that
interesting.
that she could also and had also tried that out to make the Animish people walk around the way they wanted to, practically wanted to.
Yeah,
But
Wow.
it was much easier. That gets chaotic very soon. It's much easier if everyone would follow a certain path, you know. But the path
Mhm.
that she made, there must have been so many you did not notice it at all, you know. And in these yellow pineapples, there inside there is the commanding um, the centers, you know, where she had the different boxes, what the
Okay.
empress had to do, and you know, I found that highly interesting.
I thought it
Is
was
that
funny
something
that
that go
I thought it
ahead.
was funny that
Sorry.
everybody on the safari wanted to stand inside the pineapple at the same time.
Yeah,
oh yeah, but you were content to sit on top of it. I'll take it.
Of course.
Just just get that cleared up, shall we? Yeah, very good. Yeah. I remember there was some talking that I could only see in chat, so I don't know whether it was this grid or the next one where we came to, but there was some comment about, I didn't know you could have experiences in OpenSim. And I think this was something like a reference to Linden Lab. Have always had it, well, not always, but for a few years now, they've had this experiences thing, haven't
Yeah,
they?
yeah.
It's something that has to be specially enabled.
You you
And
you agree to let them control your avatar, right? Or
yeah,
let
stuff
let them walk you down paths and stuff
like
like that.
so
Yeah.
it could well have been this that I didn't notice anything, but as I say, I was in a dilemma there. But it could be that this is run like that with the invisible path that the either your avatar or an NPC or an Animesh is walking down. But it's totally fascinating. I mean, I really, it's a great start to survive. And here I was missing the very first stop, even though
There
Oh,
was another
I'd like to go see
interesting,
that.
yeah.
I will certainly go back to explore on my own
and
accord, actually.
Yeah,
and I must say I had great fun going down the slides too.
yeah,
I
me
went
too.
down about 5 times because it was so funny, you know. You go all these curves and then with mouse look, at first it cost me a little bit. I didn't remember how to put mouse look because I almost never use it. And then finally I found it and I had to go a couple of times more. Yay, mouse look.
Yeah. Another interesting thing was that Bloom had built a music system that didn't use parcel audio, but instead used scripted objects that all played the same music around the whole region, and could bring up a player and hide a player, and it sounded and felt like parcel audio, but it didn't have the problems of Shoutcast, which was wonderful.
Yes.
So what the multiple sound ops were actually all in sync, were they?
All in sync. Yep.
So it wasn't like the variable thing where the sound changes as you move around.
No, it was pretty amazing.
God, it's really going at it.
I want to go there.
I will have to. There? Yeah, it's open. In fact,
it's open, right?
I will join you if you want to go there. If the time is right, because as I say, I missed a lot of it, and I suspect I'll be able to film or get a better idea, as is often the case when there's just one or two of you there instead of a whole sort of 30 safaristas or whatever. Anyway, yes. So as I say, that was great. Now, the next stop on the same safari was Crazy Like a Foss, and this. Hello. Why is it doing this funny thingy? No. Yeah, that's the one, isn't it? So why am I not getting... Some of these are odd. Oh, there it worked. That way it worked, didn't it? Okay. Now, we know... this is Fox, or a version of Fox. We know this is on...
Mobius Grid?
Sorry?
Mobius Grid?
Mobius Grid, that's right. Yeah, I'm so used to Mobius things. I always get confused with like these very primary color things and very cartoony. And of course, Mobius Grid is the one that has that huge area, which has always been a tribute to. It's not Mario. It's one of those, one of those games.
Sonic the Hedgehog.
Sonic the Hedgehog. That's it. I'm not a gamer. So I'm totally lost on this, but anyway, this was a new region here, and this is actually quite wonderful. I have some film of this, which in fact I will run immediately after I've shown the slides here. So I'll go through the slides a bit quicker because we can continue talking over the film.
Yep. So, I found the most fascinating thing about this grid were the teleporters.
Yeah.
Yes.
The first time you walk through it, you had to accept that you can, that they can teleport you, and then you could just use any one of them without any question.
And that was the experience system. Yeah.
Yeah. It was this one. That was. I was pretty sure I'd been into the one, so to speak. Why does it
made some kind of strange noise when you went into it, and then you got right away very fast and very fast teleporters.
Yep. Yeah, and ending up in some quite disorientated places. So there are lots of bits sort of joined. I mean, when I was camming around, you sort of see through some of the scenes, but when you're just jumping places, you move between quite a lot of contrasting environments quite quick. Not totally contrasting, but James managed to pick up this. I've got one. I picked up one, but I never got around to opening it or wearing it. James did, as you can tell. I still don't know quite what it is, but it's so bright it made everything else.
It's like it's a tree obelisk. Yeah.
It is a what?
It was an obelisk and a tree of life type of thing.
Okay.
Yeah. It's
it was
nice.
fun.
It's nice. I'll have to. I should have pulled it out for the show here now. I think of it. There you go.
Lifted had one swaying over her head too.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, and a lot of light work going on as well here. Very busy with all the stuff too. The thumbnail,
the model where we were standing there was kind of cool because you could just walk in, but you could not just walk out anymore.
Yes, that's a nasty trick. I think I played that a couple of times. Basically, you get an Invisibrim, don't you? And you sort of you can walk through one way, but not the other. There's some way of doing it, but I almost feel like we should be hearing a voice there. And there we are. So I'm now going to switch over to right. This is the film I took at the same region, and guess where we start? It's silent film, I'm afraid, on this occasion, but it does have the local wind light on.
Well,
And
this was so beautiful there with all those high windows
Yeah.
and the lights from the outside. That I thought it was really fantastic.
I couldn't decide where to start, so I was chasing around saying, "Oh, there's Tosha doing her walking off," where everybody else was standing around in a circle somewhere, and Tosha was wandering up here. But it's like the crystal feeling, sort of.
Oh yeah, I wandered quite
And you're very
way
dark.
up there.
Yeah, so I thought,
Cool.
I'll just follow Tosha. It's always a good person to follow, And obviously, the film doesn't go on for
I thought I would
35
come up
minutes of
to the
this.
top of the world, but I didn't.
Yeah,
It just was too long the way. I just stopped after a while.
yeah. And I'm very well. I was fairly easy getting up this. So in this case, I was following you in camera, so I didn't have to worry about falling off. But I'm really
Oh, it
terrible.
was easy to walk.
Yeah, well, I'm really terrible at walking along ramps and upstairs and things. I'm always falling down. Oh, I had to make do with that house as well. But it quite well. Oh, it's gone again. Yeah. So this isn't it. This is where we're all convened, so to speak. I think you're still up in the building, actually, Tosha. But yeah, very strange. A multitude of different textures, like the steps there,
Yeah,
building where it's filming you are obvious, but the
that's
ground
what I
here,
thought interesting too, was the ground textures are so different.
Mm-hmm.
And the crystal textures. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
It looks bumpy, but it's not.
Well, and the fun thing is that it's all in service of the story and the game, and
Oh.
it's very elaborate lore and storytelling around this build. And every place is a world. It's a little mini solar system, and it's very elaborate and vast. It was enormous, the spaces.
filming to
Yeah.
follow the
Mm-hmm.
entire chat in terms of understanding the story side of it. But the recap on Thursday's blog, hgsafari.com, for this and the other one are actually
This definitely was my favorite place with these
Yeah.
high windows, this blue, the blue feeling, you know.
Yeah, it's peaceful.
Yeah.
and the teleports, as you said, are really nifty. You
Yeah.
close it, it just says TB, but there's a ring, and then there's another image in the that reflects where you're going, kind of thing. I can't
Very
get
cool.
over that hat I had to wear. That's what happened when I lost my safari hat. I ended up with that one instead. I quite liked it, actually. It's sort of, it goes with a leather jacket. It's got that, fabric-wise, it's not the worst.
Very nice.
Daqueth, I don't know how to pronounce these things. Yeah, this bit was a bit dark. Yeah, you get that sometimes.
Was that
My
you had to
camera's
walk?
searching in the dark for something to focus on. I don't think there was anything there. Just came back
There you
again.
go.
Yeah, it was in there too, but you don't get anywhere. You just stop after a while.
So walk into a dark tunnel, and then
Yeah.
you turn around and walk back out.
Yeah.
But you never know with the end of the dark tunnel if that wall is going to be a walk-in teleport. You just never know until you try. I don't know. I probably thought, there's a trick there somewhere. But of course, actually, it's the other direction. We just saw James racing off here. It seems to be this was the way to go. I just turned the wrong way, didn't I? Yeah, all this light moving around all over the place too. It's sort of you feel like there's something. What's it in Star Trek? Beam me down, beam me. You feel like there's something, not a person, but something beaming down in front of you. What's going to happen there? Tosha's back there. Yeah.
And I fell off
James,
the world a couple of times too.
You're really in an exercise mood here. You were running around constantly.
Yep, that's me.
Yep. One day we'll discover a way of making you run and sit at the same time. Some sort of special seat that allows you to use your legs to run.
Honestly, I think that can happen anyway. You could sit down and be standing up, and yeah, it is possible in Open Simulator.
Or when you load animations from the actual file, and you get a little box window saying play Inworld or play to yourself, as opposed to from a HUD or from a postball. You can load multiple ones at once, and sometimes I've been, loading my own dances at places, and I've forgotten to put one away before I open the next. And I realized that I'm doing a combination of 3 dances at once, which wasn't really quite the idea.
I'd like to see that. That sounds interesting.
But they don't. They tend to run their course, but then another one will take over, and then when it's finished, it goes back. It's odd.
Yeah.
It's odd, but sometimes
it's priorities.
Yeah.
It's priorities. Yeah.
But it's not easy to load them that way and actually chain them into any kind of order. You can have 6 open, and you never know. You never know which one's taking over when. But it does make for a slightly more individual dance.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I was doing the cameraing ahead of the crowd thing here. Actually, this was a very interesting spaceship, I thought. When I figured out how I was going to get in it, it wasn't easy. I don't think there was an entrance. I had to sort of go in and twist the camera through the wall and end up wherever. Yeah, there we are. I'm doing something or other to get in. There we are. I'm inside. Yeah. So yeah, found a little complicated storage here. As Jim said, a lot of it's about the stories and stuff. So sort of there's a whole environment in the spaceship, that you would miss if you just see it in its hangar and think, "Oh, that's groovy," or whatever.
Have you ever been to In Silico in Second Life?
Oh yes, many times.
It's still there.
Yeah.
Crazy place.
Yeah, so talk about endurance. In Silico's been going for
as
long as I've known Second Life. Kind of think of it.
Yeah.
My memory's not good enough to know that early on, but yeah.
This is reminiscent. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good looking.
I wonder if Second Life have created a sort of what's the word? I mean, I know we have Destinations Guide, but for the cream of Second Life. So I wonder if there's actually a sort of record of In Silico and Garden of Dreams, and I don't know all the ones. I've forgotten the names of half of them, but the legend ones are still there. Yeah.
Well, thanks to OpenSim, we'll continue to have great creations and Second Life too, of course.
Oh yeah. I mean, well, actually, if obviously we're looking at this at the moment, but of course the other news this week, of course, is that we mentioned the new mobile out for a while, but this week it was on New Year's Day, I believe, that Linden's announced their new streaming service, which seems to well, it's a bit like the old OnLive sort of thing. At the moment, it's gone free as of January 2nd. But you can only go in for 10 minutes. You register with your normal avatar, and
so you can stream yourself if you want to.
It's like the old streaming service that actually used a remote copy of Firestorm or Second Life on the cloud and let you log in.
Oh, okay.
It's as well as downloading as video. It's got an additional uplink thing, so you can. Apparently, everybody who tried it said it's seamless. It's exactly the same as a regular client, but it's supremely faster because it's on a web page, not on a
instead of the viewer.
Yeah, and it's a virtual instance basically, but obviously Linden now is not going to pay for the server costs for people to go in that for free. I believe, from what I was sort of hearing in the background, is that.
Oh, that's true. I've read something about it.
Yeah, they may introduce it as a sort of premium plus feature. So
I was going to say they'll just have the residents carry part of the expense.
Well, yeah, exactly. You you pay even more to Linden House, basically, and you get permission
you
to
have
use
to be a
streaming.
Prime resident to use that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I used it fine, and I'm I'm
Mm.
not a special resident or anything. I just logged it in to try it, but it's the last time I tried to get in, it was a bit of a wheelie thing. I mean, it's obviously got a big queue now. 30,000 people. It's like a lot of trying to log into the streaming service at once, but it does sound it's useful because it works on Chromebooks and things, and in fact, it's sort of. Apparently it's lightweight enough to call it mobile, even though it's not the mobile client, if you see what I mean. So they're playing around with it a lot there.
It's also an interesting side effect of the AI work that's been happening, because the servers have become less expensive. And so that's why they can afford to have the rendering done on a server and then sent as a stream to the viewer rather than the other way around. So it looks like it might be more economical than the SL Go that they tried in the past.
Oh yeah, certainly. And another one was called Live something as well that went down to business. No, it didn't go out of business. They sold it to Sony, and so did Sony put it on the shelf, which weird. But I would think so. And I think I'm right in saying that Linden now pretty much use Amazon Web Services for pretty much all their servers now. And I know it was a switchover for a period of time, but I would think by now they're probably all in one place. Won't help with Everton. Oh, what am I doing? Oh,
trying to take a copy, maybe?
Trying to figure out what it was. Yeah, something where, and of course I'm filming at the same time. I think I clicked. I use the option key in my right button to click on things to navigate a bit, and sometimes it goes a bit awry.
This was a little bit like somebody entering into a bank to rob and making selfies of himself while he does that.
That sounds like a really bad movie.
And that object was a gift, so we're standing in an area where there was a hidden gift box.
That box is the gift that James was then wearing.
Okay.
He unpacked it and wore it. So I haven't tried unpacking mine yet, but it must be could probably have worn it here.
Back in that warehouse of boxes, right?
Yeah. The vastness of these warehouses too. You can see I was really high up and just seeing our avatars down below trotting around. That was definitely a sort of hangar with a starship in it. Oh. Oh, this was nifty. Yeah, that was hidden away somewhere. That's obviously like a photo set with a panoramic view on it. I like those kind of things, actually. I did at one.
Like sunflower.
At one point, I wondered about the show set here like that. It's just a differing panorama each week with the same foreground or something.
That was really strange. In the midst of all these futuristic things, all of a sudden, just
you got this.
Just normal house with all the things that you see there where you walk through as little things.
Gotchkas, right?
Well, it could be the manager's office too, type of thing, and not necessarily part of the play.
Maybe it's where the real Sonic lives.
Yeah, I mean, remember, when I'm coming, I have a sort of one as it's a bit messy at times, but one does have the ability to go through walls and things and probably find things that you're not meant to find, On the other hand, you miss the sort of things you find when you're just walking around and have several hours on your hands. Also, I don't know why I keep getting right-click menus popping up. It must. I think it's that's not like me. I think there must be invisiprims there that I'm clicking on and getting a menu for when I wouldn't normally want them.
Mm-hmm.
What happens when you go through walls? You snoop around in naughty areas and all sorts of things start happening on your right click. It looks like I'm panning around trying to figure out how to get out, isn't it? Just zoom out. That's the way to do it. That's the way to do it. We're going back in again. Had I forgotten I was filming? Oh, no, there we are. Keep out of danger. Fair enough.
So of course you can through it.
Yeah.
Of course.
Keep out of danger means come in, please.
That's right. You can't hurt me.
Yeah, it's true. Especially true.
I'll take a chance.
No, I was so. There's Tosha.
What I
We're somewhere
thought was very strange. I don't know which place it was. I think I just had a glimpse at it. There was a huge, like a carrier, something that carries the whole structure, and it was fixed with a piece of tape to the wall, And I thought, imagine that you have a bridge, and it's been held together by a bit of tape.
I love it. Gaffer tape, that's what they used to call it, yeah.
What is it called?
It's like that brown sticky tape, it's all, builders use. It's just called gaffer tape.
Gaffer tape, yeah.
Gaffer, I think, is a reference to sort of workers who use
that kind of tape that you use at the stage, to fix down the cables and stuff.
Yeah, yes,
Right.
Yeah, gaffer's a studio photographer's assistant. And the gaffer tape is wonderful because it's very sticky, but it doesn't leave residue when you take it off of people's furniture
really
and
cool.
walls. And it's not inexpensive. It's about $50
No,
a roll. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got rolls of it around. Well, probably not, probably 2 or something.
Well, don't mistake it with
Even
duct
I do.
tape, because duct tape does not perform that way.
That's my favorite though. I like
Duct tape? You like duct tape?
Yeah,
Right.
I'm a big duct tape fan. Yeah.
Oh, hang on. Well, what's the big difference in duct tape? Because
Duct tape's not meant to be taken off. It adheres in a very permanent fashion.
right, so you can okay. Because I also have reels of, I never use it these days, masking tape, which is obviously used for
painting.
airbrush painting and things like that. But
I use gaffer tape for everything.
hmm
If I have a leak, for example, under my sink, I just gaffer tape around it.
Takes care of
and it
that.
stays. Yeah.
Wow.
It's really
Then there's
cool.
the packing tape. Don't forget packing.
Oh, yeah, classic.
Gotta have packing tape.
the one thing that always used to fail me is I'll get if I've got to throw in a couple of electric wires together, like speaker cable, low voltage sort of things.
hmm
I'll twist them together, and then to make sure they don't come loose or whatever, I'll do a fold of like the masking tape. I guess not the masking tape. The
Electrician's
tape.
tape.
Tape. Yeah.
And it's really secure for a while, but after a while, it's where's my left speaker gone? Gradually it's got pulled out of sync, and the wire inside where you joined it needs to be opened up and redone. And actually that one always ends up sticky. You get these 2 little slithers of wire and put them together again, and they're no longer just wiry, they're sticky.
Really impeded.
Yeah. Oh, cutie there. It's actually doing quite a slow job of filming here. We're nearly 20 minutes in of 34 minutes.
I really thought this place was cool and really interesting. Though right to the end, I did not, quite get the idea of it. But when you say now that it is like for gamers, well then okay.
Yeah.
I did not look at it from that point of view, but okay, then
hmm
it's normal that I didn't understand.
hmm
But I just thought it was interesting, interesting builds, interesting textures, interesting things to look at.
Something different.
It is a kind of different aesthetic, actually, isn't it? So you go somewhere where there's an embedded story, and you think of it as just unraveling a story and whatever, and another one that is similar, but it's actually aimed at gamers, where gamers have that particular thing of they don't so much discover stuff and solve mysteries. Well, I suppose that's a game in its own right, but it's more the there's something the Mobius grid is plenty used to. That gaming.
What I thought was kind of funny too, that they have one door or one hallway rather, where it says guest rooms, and I said, well,
Oh yes,
I will want to see how they put up the guest. Well, I never found it. You go and go and go and go.
That's how they take care of the guests. They help them
Yeah,
leave.
yeah.
they just kick you out. You open the door to the guest room, and it's an airlock, and you're out in space.
No, it's
Right.
like a
Yeah,
kilometer of walk downstairs, you know.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I sort of follow. Yes, now you mentioned it. I don't think look, you're the first to pop in and walk off. Everybody else came later. Yeah, there we are. Yeah, there was some. Oh, this is the one where once you're in, you sort of feel stuck.
Yeah,
It's the
Is it?
reactor. It's the reactor that's powering the drill that's mining the
Yeah.
planet. That in Sonic the Hedgehog, there's a recurring theme of environmentalism, and the heroes, the animals, are being subjugated and actually killed by the human figure, Dr.
Big
Robotnik.
machine.
Yeah, and so it's kind of
I never
machines
knew
versus
that.
nature. Oh, you just
Wow.
need
So it's got an
to pay
environmental
attention. Yeah.
No, I need to play the game.
Has it always been like that, James?
Oh yeah, from the first game.
It's been around for ages, or is it just an ecological message that's sort of?
It's always
started?
been there. Yep.
Oh, okay, very good.
And Robotnik was capturing the little animals of nature and turning them into little robots. It was very sad.
I think that needs to be elucidated. A lot of people must be like me. I'm going to make a movie about that.
And some people just won't watch cartoons. Wait, we're cartoons.
Oh, I love cartoons.
That's the funniest thing, explaining to people who have no idea. Sort of. Well, that's the cartoon. I said, no, that's me. Listen to me. Yeah, but you. But,
They just don't get it until they
not
do
quite
it.
understanding. Is it a cartoon? Is it you, or where are you? And
So does that mean we've always had a cartoon side to our personalities and we never knew it?
yeah. And anyway, we're better than cartoons, aren't we? We're avatars.
Yeah.
And how did I get down there, below where everybody else is?
And where in God's name did that jacket come from?
Me camping again, I believe. I'm going to do a bit of skimming forward here because we're not exactly short on time, but this became quite a bit of a slow bit while we're trying to figure out how to get out of there. There we are. Finally got somewhere else. The landscaping side of this bit is getting rather samey, I've got to admit. Probably wasn't aware of it while I was filming. And of course, having the little fox character, and then most of the safari regulars are pretty humanoid. So there's a very surreal sort of feeling, isn't there, when you're sitting there and sort of two of the gang are critters, cartoony critters at that. Yeah. Oh yes, we're entering a new area here. Finally, it's not particularly exciting, but
yeah, the core of the asteroid.
All these sort of floating pods. You had to actually walk down those, if I recall. And there's a bit on. Oh, I've taken a diversion. There's a bit on the right there.
Now, what does that look like?
Getting the camera angles was very odd here. There are only, there's a couple of camera angles there that really pull out the background, the planet in the background and the sky. But then you try the same shot from another angle and you just can't get it.
Yeah. It's a neat place.
Mm. And James, the gift you picked up and you're wearing, have you just put it up in the air a little bit and while you're walking around with it still on, or is that somebody else's?
That's Lifted Pixels.
Right.
I've worn mine on my body for a while, but she somehow had it floating overhead, which was nice.
Yeah. And she'd probably use it as a camera. Sort of put it high enough above you, and you've got sort of fairly good vantage mode for the camera. Yeah, that's interesting. They've done well on the, I don't know what it is, more like Jupiter or something, but like the several different textures interacting there on that planet's surface. It makes you feel like, is it a gas cloud or stormy things going on?
Yeah, you couldn't survive there. Doesn't look like.
And there's another pyramid. I bet you that's another freebie, and I didn't realize.
That was another.
You did say at some point there were about 12 freebies, like that one you picked up, James, the one with
right.
I scattered around the place, and from then on, I was coming around and trying to find freebies at the same time. I never found anything else at all. And I didn't want to click on too many things whilst I was in camera or Helka break these. All quiet there. I had a vague feeling there was I'm trying to remember now. It's only a couple of days. I should remember. I think there was this sort of before we ever went in this far, I think there was a different, because I started the film running when I was following Tosha at the beginning, as you remember. And I'm doing it again now, aren't I? But I think there was a bit before that, which I didn't put on camera, which was like before we entered, we took the first TP, and it had a very different feel to it. Oh, I may be getting confessed with that. Oh, look, he's chasing you. Oh, there's a nice clip. For the game sometime. Oh, and
There's a chasing you too.
There's falling off.
He just fell. Yeah.
Yes, that's it's bad enough walking, let alone running. Oh, that's funny. Must be a naughty Invisiprim has been put there for Thursday's use. Oh no, somebody else. Yeah, one of those rocks is a trap.
I know. I like how there's a reinforcement.
It's happened to me too. I've now gone under, and this is I'm back. That's it. There's a bit over there that they're trying to tell us to go to. We had to run down these pods, I think, or camera across them in my case. Yeah, there's the fox jumping from pod to pod.
Yeah.
And then we ended up in that big mode. Yeah, this
is to that flood of lava, I think.
But something that's got a lot of loud primary colours in some of the bits. A lot of this other stuff is very dark and grey, isn't it? Dark rocks.
Yeah, it's an interesting mix. Yeah.
Yeah. Sort of.
What are they saying?
That is Inferno with Mickey Mouse on top.
God.
A bit of an extreme example, but here we are. We've teleported back to. Oh, right. Oh no, that's right. Yeah, this was a trap. You teleported to somewhere else. You tried to teleport, and you teleported on, but went back. I think. I'm not sure this is meant to be seen, this area, because it's like a. Well, I don't know.
Does it cover a whole sim?
I think it's a fair old bit more. I think it's all compacted rather well, but I don't think it's in a single sim. I think it's more like 4, VAR.
Ah, okay.
There's no region crossings on it, but
nice.
Probably a VAR file or something.
With the teleporters, you couldn't tell if it was,
right
on a platform or not, for example.
Yeah, I mean, if you see the progress bar while you're teleporting, you're crossing into a different region. But this was just seamless. It was jumping wherever you went, really. Oh, close up of our host.
Yep.
Queso
the fox.
Queso. Very good.
Yeah.
Right.
And
And
that's
of
how
course,
you say cheese in Spanish, and he is yellow.
Queso. Okay.
I doubt he meant that, though. I'm sorry to be
No,
disrespectful.
no.
Well, if if I would pronounce it German, it would be cazzo, and
Okay.
cazzo in Italian would be spelled with C, but the same sound, and it means um shit.
No,
Oh,
that can't be the case then.
And worse. I don't know the exact translation, but it's really quite
Not a nice thing to say.
not a nice thing to say, cazzo.
Thanks for
uh,
letting me know.
Yeah,
Now, now I'm going to look for opportunities not to use it.
right.
yeah.
languages, eh? I presume, just thinking about HIE, and all our languages. I presume there's somebody around on our cruise somewhere that would actually know if something was being said in a foreign language.
Probably. Well,
we
sure. I'm sure.
didn't
Yeah.
mind, 4-letter word
And
in
they'll
Spanish.
have manners. You see, they'll have manners where some people wouldn't. And so
Yeah.
you'll never know how offensive you were or weren't, or how stupid you were or weren't.
Oh, I know when I am with Italians in chat, written chat, and
Hmm.
I say cazzo, oh, they always want to laugh. I always think it's funny.
Hmm.
There he is again. Oh, finally we're reaching the end of this clip. So that's
The avatar of his is really cool, also with the animation,
Yeah,
very expressive.
all the Mobians have really perfected those avatars.
Oh yeah,
Mm-hmm.
of an ilk.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, no, it's true. They are very good. All right. So unusually, that's the end of the safari set, so to speak. Unusually, we do know where this week's safari destinations are going to be. Not from the safari blog, but from a Facebook post. So there we go.
Yeah. Where are they going?
I'm about to tell you, because
Hmm.
this is the that's effectively the end of that film. Right. Yeah. So oh boy. Okay, the URL for well, you can get it off the Safari blog actually, but the URL for that was main.mobiusgrid.us port80:FOSS PHOS. Now, yeah, destination one this coming Wednesday is going to be Yosemite on a grid called CCI grid.
oh yeah, yeah, that's
And
true.
SOA and CWAS will be taking us to California, is the way she's put it. And destination two will be with a lady called Linestra, who's inviting us to learn more about her region on AMV grid called AirMid. So that's where you're going on Wednesday if you turn up, folks. We don't often get you a chance to tell you that.
Both destinations sound really interesting.
Exactly.
And
So, getting back to the websites here. Okay, start off with Social Fusion. I've got two grids here that I went to film that are brand new this week, or at least they've just come online. This one called Social Fusion, listed up here. There, that's their sort of logo. Online now. In fact, advertising the region none. Well, there we go. It's new. hgosgrid.org AT Social Fusion, but I think we got a lower third for that when we get to the film. We'll stick that up. And created, added by somebody called Kylie Bremer. And I do believe that he and the other places he links to are Australian. Many of the links are actually to AusGrid, AUS grid, which I presume is an Australian grid, but it sounds, when you say it, rather like AusGrid. So it is different. But this is on OS grid along, like our studio is here. And you just copy that from whatever to find it. And yeah, not much more to show there. So I will actually show you some film of my little visit there. It's only about 5 minutes, this, because it is a small grid. The idea is it's sort of meeting place for people. And warning, no child avatars allowed. I think this may be an OS grid thing. I don't know. It's nicely built. It's sometimes these social sort of areas on OS Grid are a bit samey. I guess it's kind of, the legacy users of less designers and more gamers or coders. But this is going to look nice. It's got a few sort of in situ things and a lot of games you can play. So the emphasis is obviously is coming and meeting and sitting down and doing things. So
What is bubble pop games?
yeah, I don't know where that. Yeah, I am. I think they're on the wall there. Some of them are on tables, like the chess would be, I guess.
Yeah, sure.
They're just playable, and you can have a conversation with your mates and play
Mm-hmm.
at the same time. Just like you might go down to a local chess club in real life to play chess while you have an atta. Combining the two, but I mean, there is actually a dance bit here, so they can obviously hold events. But I mean, it's not a loud sort of overkill. Right, that goes to OS, which is these are all on the OS grid, AUS grid, and then got some on OS grid there, but then you got the OS grid too. It's a bit confusing. I will have to at a later date go and investigate OS grid. Or grid, or yes, you get the idea.
Get the W.
Discord channels are galore and everything else like that. Oh, and the clocks have changed. That's interesting. There's 2 clocks up there, and when I was filming, they showed the same time, and I thought they didn't move, but now I've just realised they have moved since I. Never mind. Oh yeah. This is probably the one bit that's a bit. It's obviously sparsely done at the moment. But it's called a library, and obviously that includes not just books but objects too. And not quite
that.
A shop, but a few templates and things like that. The next feature we'll look at. I'm keeping that for last. I like that. I love these old books and things. That I should have checked whether I could take that, but too busy filming. Like nice props, nice doll, but it's not moving. Sorry. when you know a moving dog, you somehow the porcelain version is no fun. All these built up are like it all seems to fit into one little region there. All those built up bits of buildings around the outside, they're all there, but they're just cubicle props on games that don't do anything.
Yeah.
And there's a couple of bits at the edges which are a little bit scenic, but I think they've just put a waterfall and rocks there to demark the edge, the edge of the region really. But it's quite nice. It's a little bit
good. Yeah.
Chill out area. And
this is a place that could use NPCs.
It's an entrance I didn't go to there actually, with a dinky sandbox. So if you're a small thing, you can go through that hole, and if you're a dinky, you can hang out in the dinky bit. But I'm too big. I'm too big to fit in dinky bit holes. My camera might have gone in. Actually, come to think of it, but it was a great visit. So yeah. Why does OS Grid have to call everything a plaza? Yeah. Oh, nice furniture there.
They do have nice furniture.
Yeah.
With nice textures.
And I don't know where it went. I'm sure there was actually an entertainment area here. Not that it was. No, that was a landing point. Maybe I missed it on film. But basically, just like I like the sound of it. Where it's called social fusion. I mean, that's something in that name implies that it's a place to gather and come meet your friends and stuff like that. So the next one, this one I thought was great. I just stumbled upon this one. It's called Ecrin, and it's French Village. When I originally loaded this, it translated but it didn't. Well, I've lost the translation, but it just says it's a French visit, and he's French, and it's a nice place. Roman Fox he is. It is rather unusual. The lower third for this, when it comes up, you'll notice it's entirely IP address. So like the 185.13.36 is like a regular blah blah blah. The 19 is the port number. Oh, actually, no, sorry, 19. Yes, so there's four strings to that, and then 8002 port number is normal. So obviously, where he does say it's hosted on a private region, it's he just says enjoy yourself, and it's only been up 5 days, as you can see, created 5 days ago. So traffic rank is fairly low, but this is what I like actually. I sort of log in here. And then I go to regions, and then I choose the newest or the oldest, everything but the current ones kind of thing. So yeah, Equine is the name, and this is the film. And I thought this lovely because it looks like it's just one sim that's jam-packed a whole French village in, but also you've got this lovely house up on the hill. But then you got all these shops, the village shops, and unlike a mall, we see so many malls in OpenSim, they get to be a bit of a headache, like real malls, really. This is like a little village street. Each shop is, one's the florist and one's the hairdresser, and you'll see this as we go along. And the interior of the house, which I started with, which I went into, whether I was meant to or not, I don't know. But it's all been very well finished. Every single square inch of the region. It may be the author has designed this to live in, but then the rest of it is just pure recreation of a small French village. I was a bit puzzled. For example, there's a musical instrument shop in the village. And I think, well, you don't normally find that. You find those in towns, but not villages. So. But I don't know, nitpicking. Maybe the French can't live without their instruments. The water too. This is like an indoor swimming pool, and it just looks good. But there's another version outdoors where there's flat floating plants. I forget what they're called, water lilies or something. Mm-hmm. They're on the surface, but the crystal water underneath you can see through. So they look like they're floating in thin air because they're floating on some very cleverly made water. And I don't know why we've got a ghost. I guess it's a glass piano or something. I don't know what it's meant to be, but
phantom piano.
Well, it could also be a harpsichord or something. It's got that. Well, I don't know.
Piano forte. What did they used to call them? Piano forte.
No, piano is short for piano forte.
Yeah.
Harpsichord is. There's various instruments. Mellotron is another keyboard one, I think. Of course, these days you just get an electronic one and set it to whatever instrument you want. we cheat these days. But yes, I don't even know where I got into everything here. It's got a big house. I didn't want to dwell on it because I knew there was lots in the village. But yeah, it looks like somebody's done this up as their own kind of house. Maybe the guy's created the sim and. He hasn't spared. He's got enough rooms to play with there, so he's got his sort of his library, his bedrooms, his sitting rooms, his music room, and everything else. And of course, the outhouses out the back here, with a bit of planting going on, a few horses hanging around, and the region comes to a fairly abrupt end. I mean, it's surrounded by water, of course, but it's all nicely enclosed in little bits of rock and things, but. Once you're inside the region, as it were, it's just model on just as imagine the village would be.
Charming.
Very old time, quaint sort of thing. There's very little modern. Well, I say no. I mean, there's a load of modern things here. The shops has got TVs in it, but it just feels like rustic, doesn't it? Sort of. Like what it would look like if you visit a French village that's been there for quite a while. I didn't check whether there were any sounds on this, to be honest, which is I got used to traveling around and using shared media, shared settings on the Sky and stuff, but don't always check the sound. But like every little detail here, the little outhouse and everything, it's just like you think it should be. You know, everything's sort of positioned rather immaculately. I thought, you know. Either you've all godsmacked or something. You've all gone silent. Oh gosh, this is wonderful.
It's really. I'm sort of just thinking how pretty it is. It looks
It is
really nice.
pretty for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Very nice.
You got the houses and you got the little farming and horses out the back, but then at the front you got the large 3 levels of steps really leading up to the house, and on each level of the steps is another street of the village. So I can imagine a village built on a hill or something that follows this model.
Like terrace. Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a moving dog. There was a moving dog.
Yep.
2 of them.
Yes. Yeah. Oh yeah. We got proper dogs on this place. And then this is the outdoor water. Look at the way these plants are floating on the top of the water, which they do, of course. But when you see them in real life, the water is usually pretty mucky, and they look like, you know, you're not aware that they're like hanging out in thin air on the surface. Whereas they designed this, you know, you got you got the fish underneath, and I don't know. And it just took me by surprise. I said, yeah, they're floating. Well, of course they're floating, but you don't normally sort of see them floating. If you see what I mean. Yeah. So again, all this attention to like delicate detail, but obviously the feel of if this was England, you know, it would be the rich person's mansion, you know, on the edge of the village, and then the village is the village, and you know, probably the estate of the mansion actually provides all the jobs in the village. I don't know, but it feels like that. There's probably, you know, that is presumably a fairly wealthy inhabitant of the big house, whereas down here, it's like a normal village. Unfortunately, there are no actual village houses here, unless you count the upstairs of the shops, which don't seem to be particularly full of anything. But I mean,
it's a really charming place.
It could be a village full of shopkeepers. And the choices, it's interesting. There's a pet shop. Well, you're going to see them all. Oh, yes, pet.
Oh, I have to go there.
A pet shop. We'll
get stand around over there.
Yeah. I think this is a marriage shop or something. Yeah, or something like that.
Yeah, it's not
really. They're also detailed. They're, you know, they're like static because all the characters, you know, they're animations or something. But they're all
like a wedding shop.
They're posed really well.
Here are some pictures for the calendar of the safari, guys.
I thought it's like it's a tattoo shop. That's what it was. I thought it was a dentist. That's what I panned out.
I thought it was a skin application parlor.
Yeah, very, very. But it's just so quaint, this whole thing. Actually, I love
it. That is the wedding shop. Let's keep out of it.
Yeah, that's not a pet shop. Yikes.
They've got signs outside. There's a leather shop, for example. And yeah, they're on both sides. So if I forget to spin the camera, I think I caught them all in the end. Yeah, this is a lot of baked on mesh kits and stuff there, which are all fairly contemporary. To do up your meshes with. This is one of those awkward things where the windows are so clear. I'm filming through the windows, and then I wonder why my camera won't zoom in. I obviously didn't send the camera through the door. You know, cheated.
Do you have a fly cam, or are you all clicking?
I'm just holding down the Alt key.
Yeah.
And control at times, depending, and make use a lot of my scroll wheel on the mouse. Right click, mouse, option key, control key, pretty much.
Okay.
Although, hang on, yeah. Oh, sorry, Alt and control. I'm look at the Mac keyboard. I should be looking at the Windows keyboard. Bade hose, whatever. Well, That's a bit boring. Just boring old classic sweaters, but never mind. Some people want
What
that.
are you talking about? No, stop.
Classic sweaters. I'm all these Apollo things, they're all mesh things. So that's one. Wish I'd had this last week. The Santa hair. It's a hair and the Santa hat built into one. They can put that away till next year now, I think. So fashion stores, men. What's this one? Shiny ears. It's definitely a female shop. A polish HUD. Do you need a HUD for your nail polish? It's a bit of everything. I discovered this as a magic when my mesh avatar was actually how I got the HUDs that came with it. You just load them, make the adjustments, and then unload the HUD. It doesn't obscure your screen except when you're dressing yourself. But you can actually pick up these HUDs for other avatars that work perfectly well with yours. So, you know.
Oh, cool.
If I really wanted to have different colored nails on my hands.
Yeah, I don't really see you doing that much, Mel.
No,
Let me see your
yeah,
nails.
but I'm strictly speaking, giving an example.
Manicures are really nice. I know several men who just like a good manicure.
Yeah.
You know, not with polish particularly, but just the way to groom, just another aspect of grooming.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty good.
I'm terrible with that. I just clip the old nails.
Hack them up.
I tempted to buy a thing on Facebook I saw advertised, but everything I order on Facebook ends up being shit. You know, rip off. But it's like a little plastic gadget that like a dispenser. It's got a little motor in it, and you run your finger and toenails around it, and it's all smooth. And
that sounds handy.
Take out the nail powder, but the way it looks on the advert, I mean, I don't trust. You know, I've seen so many things on Facebook that have been a complete write-off, rip-off. I mean, I don't know what it is about Facebook, but the advertising protection people don't seem to have any control over it at all. Oh, Nick Clegg, our former Deputy Prime Minister here in the UK, he's given up his 7-year job at Facebook. So I guess all senior management at Facebook seem to be American again, which is interesting.
In what way?
He was he gave a very polite letter, sort of praising his friends and people he met there and everything, but he didn't fully explain why he'd left at this particular time.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't sound like he was dying to do something new. It sounded like it might be strategically backing out from something that might become a problem at a future point in time. He is certainly a no friends with Facebook. So, of course, he was Vice President of Global Affairs. So his title says it all, really. Yeah, all these Animesh characters as well, just hanging around there on the bench.
They're static.
And then there's the final lower level of shops down here. There's the musical instrument shop with a nightclub floor. Looks a bit odd, that. But all they're sort of fully stocked. I mean, each one of these small shops, you know, firstly it's got a theme. There you are. There you are.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Okay, I'll be right over.
I won't say it.
What?
Ooh,
I think there are going to be a lot of pet love shops around soon.
Yeah, got some.
I predict it.
Cat food. Got some little kennels.
Cat food. That's it.
Very interesting pets as well.
Puppies.
Yeah, I always feel a lot sad when I see pussycats and puppies in cages. I mean, I suppose that's the way.
Hopefully, they won't be there too long.
Did I see Barkus there? Was that Barkus?
Oh, I don't know. God, I've forgotten about Barkus. He disappeared with Tosha in the end, didn't he? I think.
Yep. Something's
happened on Hypergrid today. I went to the slideshows here, and I can't do anything with them. Actually, they've all reverted to Tosha and Tosha only permissions. I think it probably happened at the same time I lost my hat. Probably OS Grid reloaded something and
Yeah.
little bits of inventory have gone and permissions have reset or something. But yeah, there's no impediment to this screen anyway. Oh yeah, and it's everything is so French and fitting here. I mean, there's when you get to that lower bit, you I'd actually been filming all this, and I had no idea where my avatar was until the end when I actually went out. You'll see, because I turned the corner, and yeah, they've got an estate office or something there by the look of it. But I think that's actually just selling houses to people, presumably to take away.
Yeah. Oh, look at that.
And furniture, and then we move along a bit, and oh yeah, these are just set pieces for the furniture. And there is some modern stuff there, as you can see.
Okay.
Every good old-fashioned village has a few mod cons in the shops, don't you?
Looking good. Everything's mesh.
Now here we are.
I see no prims.
Next we move along. I mean, oh no, this is one of the art shops. Oh, I've still got 5 minutes to go. And yeah, I mean, this would be a great place to go shopping, quite frankly. It may be a single share and not a big mall with a, there's big malls. You go to an area search and then you have to look for what you're looking for and hope you can find it. Whereas this, you just wander around like you've been a normal village street.
Right.
Now, this,
you want to take it to your home.
It's the French bar. And then, of course, we're now at ground level now. So we're back behind the beach. Touch me for a drink. As well. Spoiled it with the text overlay. So yeah, a typical eating and drinking establishment. And then there's a boat, and guess what? There's my avatar. I've been there all along. Well, I've been filming. I can't remember landing. So I found myself, and there you are. That's the entrance escort.
There you are, getting soaked.
Village, and there's a couple more bits yet, because when I went back in, I was facing the other way. An antique shop, and visitor board, which of course I see myself there, and yeah, well, all very pretty looking. You run out of things to say, really. You just want to look at it and think, oh, that's nice, that's nice.
Really, I haven't seen a single prim. It's all mesh.
Oh.
Don't you think?
I think so, yes.
I think so, a lot of it, for sure. It's well-placed.
The only thing I saw was there was before a woman with a baby carriage, and that carriage looked like a prim. Like prim made, but the rest is all mesh.
And the disco floor in the music shop looked like it was a simple prim, So yeah, I mean, it's probably a few things that are prim when you don't need to, use mesh. But you're right. I think it's predominantly mesh. 80. Oh yeah, there we are. Still discovering ones. I always end up in the air trying to think, oh, did I get that? Did I get that? Down we come again. So, will you both be inclined to visit this?
Yeah.
Yeah, good.
It's very cute. Yeah, I'm sure I will.
It's sold on one. Yeah, and of course, well, I imagine it's very much French as well, French language everywhere, of course. So, but that doesn't matter so much. It's visual anyway. And yeah, they've jammed an awful lot in there into what is just one sort of privately operated sim. So
it sure looks like a nice place to visit.
Yeah, and very smooth too. Well, yeah, I was on my own. Somebody else joined after, but not laggy at all or anything. Mind you, it didn't expect it to be. So that is almost it. 20 seconds to go. Countdown on the film here. But no, that's the litmus test. Is, are you all going to go visit this? And did I make a good choice? I think so. I like to go to I like choosing the new Sims if they're any good, just to um, you know. And so very little of this region. I mean, you got the animeshes and things like that, but very little of it um, felt like anything I've seen before. Sure, the shops had things on the walls that they're selling that you've seen somewhere else and things like that, but the general ambience of the place, I wasn't sort of just turning around and thinking, "Oh, I know, I've seen that before. Or I've got that somewhere." Sort of. It all seemed pretty, you know, unique in its own way. So
Mm-hmm.
that is it. Safari Roundup, Le Finito. Um, so have I forgotten anything? I've given out Safari on Wednesday. Well, let's remind you, everybody. Catch up on Safari. You can always read up on it at hgsafari.blogspot.com, which is where we've been showing the links from. And Grid, hgsafari.com is where the HG Safari Clubhouse is. And as I said, on Wednesday, we meet at noon Pacific time. And destination 1 is Yosemite on the CCI grid. Destination 2 is AirMid, on the AMV grid. So that should keep us occupied during the week. And then we will be back here again, of course, next week. So what have I forgotten? Anybody remind me? I don't think I have, actually. And the wolf hasn't howled yet.
No.
making fairly good time for once, actually.
Well, thank you for having such a nice first show of the new year.
Yes. And thank you for coming.
Very nice.
So, when we're doing this sort of photo tour in new places and stuff, it's always nice to have more voices, Like we're in a sitting room watching TV together and we're just like, oh, that's nice. Oh,
Yeah.
I like that, though,
And then you go there. Yeah.
That is. So, but I do try and choose the nice sort of places. Tosha gave me what for, didn't you? A month or two ago now, and there was a rather grungy place, which was dirty and derelict and post-apocalyptic or something.
Whose face? Your face?
No, Tosha really didn't like that one. You remember the grid?
A sim. Yeah. Okay. A grid.
The grid I went and filmed, but was not particularly attractive, shall we say?
Fortunately, Tosha's likes are not to be generalized.
No, you're got good taste anyway. So, we might as well, either next week or the week after, by the sound of it, we'll be having a little special with Tosha, which will include, I don't know how to announce this, but the plan anyway is to include some poetry. And what do you want to give us a little quick hint as to what that show's going to be about?
I hope it will work out. Well, I think it will work out. It's with Dings Digital and Emil Jennings. They have said that they would do some winter poetry reading. And I think that's very nice because they're both very they like very much poetry. They know a lot of poetry, and they're very fine readers, both of them. I don't know if you've ever heard them doing some readings.
No, I haven't.
Yeah, they're really cool. And Dings is German, but speaks like a pretty perfect English, and Emil is American.
Yeah.
And I was thinking to take some winter photos of different Sims, travel around and make a little reel out of it, so that we can show that while they're reading. Not all the time, but maybe a couple of them.
Yeah, that's cool. That sounds really nice.
To make a little,
a
little background.
It's nice actually to keep that winter feeling alive, snow on the ground and stuff like that. And we've got the first beginning of January, so a few more
weeks. What I don't know is, of course, they have to agree on what day or what time they can come. And also, I've talked again with Liko. My God, Liko! I asked him again if he talked with some teachers that could tell us about the school Sims of craft, and good grief, he forgot. but now he told me that he would do that because I think it's such an important and wonderful thing that they're doing in craft, the schools where only teachers and students can go.
Yeah.
Don't give up. That is
And
good.
yeah, and that just to make it to be known a little more, tell a little bit about it. I think that can be very interesting.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So that is something for the future. But as Liko, I've asked him about 2 months ago, and I reminded him a few times. And last night I asked him again, and he says, "Oh my God, I forgot." But he's a very
At least he's
occupied.
honest.
Well, look on the bright side for the education thing. We don't need to be winter. It can emerge in spring or summer.
Yeah, but they really do amazing things. I've been there because I'm sort of an assistant because sometimes I build on these regions, the
Yeah.
teachers' regions, the schools' regions, and so I have a pass. I can go there.
Yeah.
Others cannot go there, and they really are doing some amazing things there. And I would love to talk about them and
Would they let us in, somebody like me, or into film?
I don't know. I don't know. If
You
they
know, just,
don't, that
yeah.
would be a thing that would
You have to
Probably
have
ask.
to
not.
be
If
talked
they're a
about.
student,
If
yeah.
not, maybe I can do that,
Yeah. It's just, I mean,
because I can go.
yeah.
So,
Yeah, just the usual thing of, we can talk about
yeah,
things, but we've got
yeah,
something visual in the background too. So, yeah,
yeah,
lovely stuff. Yeah, it is the new year, so we should be making New Year's resolutions to bring
yeah.
this and that and t'other onto the show. Yeah,
You
so
go first.
we will
Make it
see.
go to the end of the show.
We will see. We will see. Okay, well, I think we can close up. Any final thoughts from anybody here? You are sort of the closest to our guests this week, Pet Love. Any news from you? Anything you'd like to tell us about going on, or any
Oh,
comment on what we've had?
I would just like to wish everybody a really terrific new year
Yeah,
because, I mean, a really good new year, even though so many things are in the air that are sort of challenging, politically and what do you call it, ecologically.
oh,
But
record.
we have to keep our heads up. So I hope
Hmm.
we all find the
Yeah.
strength to do that.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Heads up and hope. Oh, lovely.
Yeah, just keep on trucking.
Yeah, well, that's it. That's it. Keep on trucking.
Yeah, keep on trucking.
Eyes on the road. I know what's the other the Canty. What was it? Canty.
Grateful
Not
Dead.
much else one can do.
The Canty one. It wasn't keep on trucking. It was on the road again. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the one.
Uh-huh. Canty. Yeah, they were great.
Yeah, good old band.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent band.
Right, James. Final thoughts on what we've been talking, or anything exciting coming up that you've got to care to plug or whatever?
No, just I like the advice for having a good new year, and we had Sophie Supermarine was in chat, and she was liking the variety of places that you went today. So that was
Oh,
that was
lovely.
lovely.
Well,
Yep.
I don't know if she's still there, but hi there, Sophie. Happy New Year to Sophie.
Happy New
Yeah,
Year.
it's some weeks I keep saying it's got anybody in chat and we can't find anybody in other weeks. Oh, sorry, I missed you. Yes, I don't have the chat open on my machine, but that's good that James caught you. That is good.
Oh, she
And,
says Happy New Year. Yep, she's here.
Happy New Year also to our other viewers who will maybe appear during the week when we're not live, which tends to be the time, but that's the idea. We're here to wish you all a new year. And Tosha, any final thoughts for today?
Outthought. I'm all outthought.
You're all out
You're all
of
caught up.
Yep.
You're all out of sorts. Fair enough. Okay. Right. Well, folks, hope you've enjoyed what we've had this week. And we will see you again, same time, place next week with whatever we come up with. I will therefore get ready to depart. I'd like to thank Pet Love Pet Shop. Thank you, Pet.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Thank you for the right-hand man, James Atlloud. Thank you, James.
Sure thing, Mel.
And thank you to my co-host, Tosha.
A pleasure, Mel, like always.
She spoke before I could get the surname in. Never mind. Thank you. Thank you, Tosha. Lovely. Okay, and from me, a very good New Year too, of course. Wishing you all a very good morning, a very good afternoon, a very good evening, and indeed a good tomorrow, depending on wherever and whenever you are. And it's a wrap.
Okie doke.